Well, everyone, today's Richmond race was full of strategy, and it led to being Chris Buescher's day. Chris Buescher gets his third career win and his second win with RFK Racing. Let's get started with this race review.
Back to reality.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of In the NASCAR Cookout 400 Race Review Edition, Richmond Raceway, and yeah, I gotta say, man, this Richmond race was full of strategy, just like of past Richmond races for this next gen car, this Gen 7 car, full of strategy, and yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So at the on the pole was Tyler Reddick. So yeah, Tyler Reddick won the pole, and Kyle Busch was second, and then Tyler Reddick, the Toyotas. All three of my favorite drivers were 1, 2, and 3 throughout the second half of stage one. Bubba Wallace, I thought he was going to at least a top 5 today, or top 10. So, my opinion, should have finished in the top 10. But hey, Bubba Wallace gained a whole bunch of points to lessen the chances of him missing the playoffs. So, he's plus 54 right now above the cut line, but we're going to take a look at the playoffs here in a little bit. So, yeah. Um, so, guys, and yeah, what I gotta say, man, this race was full of strategy. But however, the on-track racing wasn't really that exciting, to say the least. But it was definitely interesting watching the drivers trying to play some strategy out. So, yeah, I would say this was about, in my opinion, just an average Richmond race. It wasn't terrible at all. This race wasn't terrible at all, like the Richmond 2020 race where Brad won. That race was. Don't even get me started with that race. That was terrible. But this race was this race was good, guys. This race was average, to say the least, for Richmond. And yeah, so stage one was dominated by Tyler Reddick. There's literally nothing you could say in stage one other than Tyler Reddick and the top three drivers that were all my favorites dominating. Tyler Reddick, Denny Hamlin, and Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace was able to finish stage two and finish in P2 in stage one. Denny Hamlin position number three. But however, in the second half of in the first half of stage two, 2311 racing was strong with Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. But when strategy came into play, where drivers made green flag pit stops, RFK Racing was able to get up there and challenge for the lead. And as you guys know, RFK Racing, they won the Bristol Night Race back in September last year, and Brad Keselowski and Chris Buescher, they were good. And yeah, Brad Keselowski won stage two. By the way, he led for the last quarter, last third of stage number two, and he was good. He was good. But then in stage three for Brad, he got into his pit stop awkward and had a slow pit stop that cost him potentially the race win. So yeah, Brad will have to wait another week, or will have to wait another race to get his first win. So, first win of 2023 and his first win at RFK, at Roush, when at him as a team owner. So he'll have to wait a little bit longer. So yeah. And then we have some drivers out there who had strategy, like Martin Truex Jr. At the race, he was really terrible. He was terrible at the start of the race, but then his crew chief James Small made a strategy that let him come up. Like, I think it was like some sort of strategy where you stay out on older tires. He was able to get up there and have a challenge, and I think he was able to manage to get a top 10 out of that. I think he did. So yeah. And then stage three, nothing really much happened other than the first final, except for the final 10 laps. Final 10 laps, we'll get to that, but yeah. And Kyle Larson, he was able to put the bumper to the back of Denny Hamlin and put him up the track. And I would say, as a Denny Hamlin fan myself, Larson, did a good job with that. So yeah, didn't wreck him or anything, didn't do anything egregious that was, that was good of him. So yeah, just want to let you guys know on that. If you want to know my take on it. So yeah. So yeah, Larson did say he was going to race Hamlin differently and got to the back of him. So yeah, but yeah. So let's go ahead and get to the final 10 laps. Um, First off, if there was a caution, the only caution for an incident today was for Noah Gragson getting loose, getting into Daniel Suarez, and Suarez spinning around. Daniel Suarez had a terrible race today, and his points deficit to the cutoff line went down. He's now like 19th in points, I believe. So yeah, and unfortunate for Daniel Suarez there. And then Chris Buescher and Denny Hamlin were right up on the front row. I was really anxious. Oh boy, guys, I was really anxious throughout the final 5 laps. And then Chris Buescher got it, and Denny Hamlin was close. But I'm glad Denny Hamlin had a good points day and a good day overall. So, man, guys, congratulations to Chris Buescher. Really happy for him. I know that team has worked so hard to get to this, and yeah, remember a year ago, Chris Buescher and Brad Keselowski weren't even talking about making the playoffs. But Chris Buescher did win the Bristol Night Race, and Brad Keselowski last year didn't have a good season in his first year with RFK. This season, they've clearly turned around, and I'm clearly happy for Chris Buescher. His crew chief made the strategy right, played the right moves, right call, and got it. So congratulations to Chris Buescher. And other than that, there's nothing really much to say about the race, other than there's a lot of strategy. Tires were obviously really important, and the heat in Richmond. Whew, goodness gracious, it's like over 130 degrees in that race car, and they've showed it. The temperature in Denny Hamlin's car was like over 130 degrees, and yeah. So and it's literally dark clouds behind me, literally dark clouds out the window. So yeah, yeah. So wow, guys, what a race for strategy, and tires were important, and yeah. So I mean, there's nothing really else you could say. There was a lot of strategy came into play. 2311 Racing was strong in the first half, but then in the second half, RFK came up. And if you guys notice, I was noticing this. The drivers who were really good, mostly some of the drivers who were good at the start of the race, didn't do good at the second half. Like Chase Elliott. Chase Elliott had a good car to start, and then just faded in the final stage. So yeah. So yeah, guys. Like I said, congratulations to Chris Buescher. And yeah, so now I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the race results.
Alright, everyone, here is the race results. Chris Buescher won the race. Really happy for him. He started 26th. He finishes first. Denny Hamlin, my favorite, finishes second. Kyle Busch, he started second, finished third. Joey Logano, he had a fast car in practice, but he finishes fourth. Ryan Preece, man, I feel like he was going to be in contention for a win, battling with Chris Buescher, but he ends up finishing fifth. Brad Keselowski, after having that bad pit stop in stage 3, finishes sixth. Martin Truex Jr. comes home, finishes seventh. Almirola gets a top 10, good day for him. Austin Dillon ninth. Kevin Harvick in his final Richmond race rounds up the top 10. Chase Briscoe 11th. Bubba Wallace, in my opinion, should have finished inside the top 10, but ends up finishing 12th. Chase Elliott 13th after having a fast car for the first half. Ryan Blaney 14th. Ty Gibbs, the rookie, in 15th. Tyler Reddick had that commitment line violation, finishes 16th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 17th. Alex Bowman 18th. Kyle Larson, man, he just really didn't have a good race by his standards. But he finishes in the top 20 though, so at least he got, he doesn't get too bad of a finish, but he still finishes in the top 20. But yeah. Christopher Bell finishes 20th. William Byron 21st. Michael McDowell 22nd. Eric Jones 23rd. Ross Chastain 24th. Todd Gillen 25th. Austin Stewart 26th. AJ Allmendinger 27th. Noah Gragson 28th. Ryan Newman 29th. 30th is Justin Haley. Harrison Burton 31st. 32nd Corey LaJoie. Daniel Suarez finishes 33rd after getting spun out by Noah Gragson. Ty Dillon 34th. JJ Yeley 35th. And 36th would be Jay McLeod. In fact, all drivers that finish in this race finish this race in no DNFs. So that's something. Also, forgot to mention Bowman and Larson. They were up there battling for the free pass at the end of stage 2 when Brad won. And Bowman was able to get the free pass and they finished 18th and 19th. So, yeah, this is the final results, everyone.
So yeah, guys, in conclusion, this race was full of strategy. The racing product, there was passing, of course, but Richmond never really produces the best kind of racing out there, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, but it is a short track race, and there were some bumping and banging. So yeah. So obviously, this, in my opinion, was just an average, normal. God dang, what was that? Guys, I'm not sure if you heard that, but something just banged. Probably was the trees or something. It wasn't thunder. It was probably like the trees or something. Whew. Gosh, guys, some entertainment for you in this video. So, anyways, guys, yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the playoff cut line. Well, those drivers, I'm gonna take a look at that are in the playoff picture. So, whoever drives aren't locked into the playoffs, I'll show you the points right up here. So, as you guys can see, Kevin Harvick and Brad Keselowski, they're still in a really comfortable position, triple digits above the cut line. So, yeah. Bubba Wallace, like I said, he gained a lot of points today. He was like over plus 20 points above the cut line, somewhere around there. I think it was like 27. He gained up to like 50, 27 or 23, I believe. He got his way up to 54. So really good day for Bubba Wallace, I should say. And next week, Michigan, another track Bubba Wallace is good at. So I'll put if Bubba Wallace has another good run there, this will put a lot less pressure on him in the next road course races because Bubba Wallace isn't really that good on road courses. We have the Indy Road Course and Watkins Glen. So yeah, this was a really good day for Bubba Wallace. And then we have Michael McDowell. He's still plus 18 above the cut line. If he just has a good normal day at Michigan, not getting any trouble, but he has the road course races coming up and Daytona. So McDowell still has high hopes. Ty Gibbs. No one expects Ty Gibbs to make it to the playoffs this year. If Ty Gibbs if he ends up making it to the playoffs, he'll be the first driver since Cole Custer did it in 2020 as a rookie to make it. So yeah, I didn't expect Ty Gibbs if he makes it to the playoffs this year. I didn't expect that. So you can see AJ Allmendinger, over minus 20 points. He's minus 22. So yeah, and then we have Daniel Suarez. He's now minus 34 below the cut line. And then Chase Elliott, who's minus 40 below the cut line. So yeah, so that's the playoff picture as it stands. So yeah, this Richmond race again, like I said, has full of strategy. And even though it didn't produce the best kind of racing out there, it was still bumping. They were still drivers bumping and banging, especially some of the restarts. Heck, the final restart, there were cars like 3 wide, like few rows back. So yeah, and then there was of course in the final lap, and when they come in a checkered flag, there was this big crap. There was this crash that happened, and big crash that happened on the start finish line. So yeah, and so guys, I'm gonna give this Richmond race a 5 out of 10 for this race, and yeah, so this is it, guys. Congratulations to Chris Buescher. He won again on a short track last year at Bristol, a half mile. Now at Richmond. So congratulations to you, Chris Buescher. Happy for him. And yeah, what do you guys think about this race? Let me know in the comments. And anyways, this is Preston signing off. Peace out.